We were told to be strong. We were told to get over it. We were taught to keep going even when everything inside of us was breaking. But no one ever told us what to do with the parts of us that stayed stuck. That little version of you that still cries when you are rejected. Or what to do with the version of you that still freezes when someone raises their voice. Today, we're talking about healing your inner child. Not the trendy version, but the real, raw, messy, and beautiful kind of healing that most of us never got. Now, if no one has ever had this conversation with you, then today, this one is for you. Come, let's dive in.
I'm with Lucia every day. Find your light along the way. Inspiration.
I was speaking with one of my mentees recently, and what she said truly moved me. She said she was just around 9 years old. She was around 9 years old. She loved to talk all the time. She asked questions, sang songs, told stories to anyone who would listen. Her voice was full of life, a young girl full of life. But one day during a family gathering, she overheard a relative say something that changed her forever. Something that changed everything. The relative said, she talks too much. She's always running her mouth. And just like that, she shut down. She started to shrink. She told me she became the quiet one, the opposite of herself. She would rehearse whatever she wanted to say in her head, even before she spoke. It made her to always second guess herself, as in she was always second guessing every word that she said. She didn't want to be too loud or too much or be too annoying. And do you know what's heartbreaking? The heartbreaking part is that it wasn't just a phase in her life. That one moment, that single comment shaped years of how she saw herself. It wasn't until much later in her adult life that she realized that she was never truly quiet. She was just carrying a shame that never actually belonged to her in the first place. Shame that came from a little girl who simply wanted to be heard. And just hearing her tell me her story made me pause. Because how many of us have a version of that same story? That one moment in childhood that shaped how we see ourselves today. That's where the inner child comes in. Listen, your inner child is real, not some concept from a self-help book. Your inner child is the emotional memory of your younger self. Is that part of you that remembers how it felt to be ignored, or how it felt to be constantly compared or not chosen. And when these feelings are not processed, they don't just disappear. They don't just disappear. They show up in your adulthood like this. You fear to speak up even when you know you're right. Another is you feel guilty for resting, or you're always trying to prove your worth to others. That's not weakness. That's a child inside of you still trying to feel safe. Here's how you know your inner child might be hurting. First, you're constantly seeking validation. You find yourself asking, am I doing okay? Even when you know you're doing okay. Another is that you struggle to say no because you're afraid saying no means you'll be abandoned. Or you overachieve to feel worthy. Rest feels like laziness because you are taught that being busy made you lovable. You always replay your childhood moments in your head, wondering if it was your fault. My dear, it wasn't. Or you feel a deep loneliness even when surrounded by people because the one person you needed the most never really showed up. So, what do we do with this pain? How do we handle this pain? I will tell you this, we don't run from it. We don't shame it. We reparent ourselves. We just reparent ourselves, and here's how we do it. The first step is to talk to your inner child. So what you do is, you close your eyes, picture you at 7 years old, sitting on the floor, knees scrapped round, eyes unsure, what would you say to her? What would you say to your 7-year-old self? Maybe you would say to her, you're not too much, you never were. Or maybe you would say something like, you were just a child and you deserved love. Another thing you can do is to write a letter to your younger self. I do this often and it's powerful. Just start your letter with, dear little me, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you, but I am now. You get? Write it as if you are the protector you never had. The protector you wish you had then. Write this letter like you're the protector now. Another thing to do is to practice gentle parenting with yourself. Be kind to yourself when you mess up. Comfort yourself even when you are overwhelmed. Speak lovingly to your reflection. You can't heal a child by yelling at them. You know that, right? You can't heal a child by yelling at them. And you can't heal your inner child by criticizing yourself. They didn't need perfection. They needed presence. And you can be that presence. You can be that. Okay? So let me ask, what if we all grew up hearing words like, you're safe, you are loved, you are enough just the way you are? What if that was what the words you kept on hearing? The truth is, we can't change what happened in our past, but we can give ourselves now what we didn't get then. Listen, healing is not a straight line. Some days you feel strong, some days you want to hide. But through it all, I want you to remember that your inner child is not your weakness. She's your key to your freedom. Okay? Your inner child is your key to your freedom. Now, let me ask you this. If your 7-year-old self was sitting right in front of you, what would you say to them? I'm really eager to hear. Just leave it in the comments. I would love to read your words. And if no one has told you this lately, I would like to let you know that I see you, I love you, and it's never too late to heal. Okay? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next.